Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and an absolutely fascinating mathematical phenomenon in front of us today. I'll get to that in a moment. There's so much going on. I do want to just canter through it. We've got the Kickstarter to make our Cracking the Cryptic Greatest Hits book, Volume 2. Volume 1 was the prize for the last Patreon contest, Duality by Skunkworks, a copy signed by both of us, which has gone out to Spencer. Well done. And we've got a new contest, of course, running, the 12 Labours of Hercules. Brilliant puzzle, brilliant set of puzzles, I mean, with a lovely final twist as well. It's a really great collection. Thank you so much to Piotr V, Panthera and Aspartagus who created it. Do join us on Patreon. There's always other content as well going on over there. We've been streaming this week, of course. You can catch up with the video of that. We've got new apps out. The new gas app is actually out there. If you get the CTC app, you can download the gas part. You can also update the domino Sudoku part. So loads going on there. We've got the creating a cryptic crossword with celebrity talks coming up on the 15th of November on the Ides, and I mean, just tons of stuff. Do check out all the links under the video. The first one is to this puzzle, and this gives me a chance to say happy birthday to Xenonetics. We've featured Xenonetics on the channel once before, and I think it was about this time last year. A puzzle about dice nets. So I have a feeling Xenonetics is a mathematician, and Maybe a mathematical phenomenon is self-descriptive. While I'm doing birthdays, I do want to also congratulate Fool on Hill, whose birthday it is today as well. So Simon may already have mentioned them, but I want to do so too. Another constructor who's been on the channel once, but Xenonetics now makes it twice. And the rules of this one are fascinating. I will warn you that I'm absolutely certain the answer check won't work on this puzzle at the end of it. So you may have to come back and check with the video. And that's if I've got it right, which may not happen if there's maths involved. So normal Sudoku rules apply. Now that means to the 9x9 grid in the center here. So normal Sudoku rules apply to that area, which means 1 to 9 appear in each row, column, and 3x3 box. X sums clues outside the grid, and they're not given, we have to determine them, indicate the sum of the first X digits from that direction in their respective row or column, where X is the first digit seen. So I'm going to randomly make up a column of digits down here, and the X sum clue this end would be, it would count the first X digits where X is the first digit. So, or it would sum the first X digits where X is the first digit. So X would be 3, and the first 3 digits add up to 15. So the clue there would be 15. Down at the bottom, it would be looking at the 2. It would say we're adding 2 digits. 2 and 8 equals 10 if there was a clue there, which won't matter for this puzzle. I mean, theoretically, every single one of these greys outside the grid that aren't in the corner could be populated at the end of the puzzle, but we are only interested in the ones that are connected by dots. Now, as you might have predicted, white dots join consecutive X sums clues, but remember, these could be double-digit clues, and black dots join X sums clues with a 1-to-2 ratio. So that's a really interesting use of the crop key rule set. It's not in the grid, it's only outside the grid. That is a fascinating idea. I don't know how, I mean, there doesn't seem to me to be a lot of information in this puzzle, so I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm really stoked to try it, and thank you to Xenonetics for telling us it was your birthday and for suggesting we look at your puzzles, and happy birthday to you. Now, I'm going to restart the clock, and let's get cracking. So, well, I say let's get cracking. I have literally no idea how we are going to get cracking. I mean, we can... The grid itself is a complete blank. I'm quite overwhelmed by that. There's no marking in the grid at all. So I kind of get what this phenomenon is, that this grid can exist with no marking in it is amazing. But what's going on with, we've got lots of clues on the left. We've either got to start here, but this is just as interesting a set and continues. Now, we have to be very careful with X-sum clues because they're not going to be bound by normal Sudoku rules in the sense that you could have repeats up here, and I must try and remember that. I mean, I'm instantly looking at this and going, ooh, is it 1, 2, 4, 8 or 2, 4, 8, 16 or something? And there's two reasons why, well, there's one reason why it doesn't have to be that, which is what I just said. You could have repeats, so it could go 16, 8, 16. And that would be perfectly fine. But actually, it's not got a 2 in it. Because one thing I know about X-sums is that 2 is an impossible clue. And the reason for that's fairly obvious. If you had a 2 there, what digit would you put here? If you were adding just the first one digit, if it was a 1, you'd get to only 1, and 2 would be the wrong clue. If you're adding the first 2 digits or any greater number, you'd sum to more than 2. So 2 cannot be a clue. Therefore, there's no 2. Well, you see, I'm still trying. My brain is still thinking of this as an ascending or descending sequence, but it's not necessarily. It can have repeats. What on earth do we do with it, though? I mean, there's nothing to go on. There's nothing to go on here. Okay, this might be a very short video as I spend 3 more minutes thinking about this and give up. I'm absolutely astonished. I'm beginning to wonder, have I failed to put any markings in the grid that were there? But there's nothing mentioned in the rules, so no, I think that's right. Oh gosh, this is weird. Oh, okay. What's going on in the first column? Right. 9. Where would we put a 9 in this column? Now, if we put a 9 in any one of these cells, and it might be here, I'm just speculating about this. If we put a 9 in any one of those cells, then this digit has to be a 45, or this X-sum clue, because, and this is a secret that you mustn't share with everybody, every row, column, and box in a Sudoku adds up to the same number. It's always 45 because 1 to 9 by rule must be there and they add up to 45. So if we had a 9 here, then we would have to have 45 here. That's how the rule works in this context, because the 9 digits would add up to 45. Now you could have 45. Oh, okay, you can't have 45 on a black dot, because if you double it, you get to 90. That's just nonsense. The X-sum clue can't go over 45, the total of digits in the row. And if you halve 45, you don't get an integer, so that doesn't work. So 9 in the column can only be in one of those 3 cells. What about... Oh, hang on, 9 can't be here. Because if you had 45 here, you'd have to have 44s in both of those to be a number that was possible and next to it, and they'd both need an 8 in the starting cell. So that's not 9. So 9 is in one of these two. Now, can I prove 9 is not here? Because if that's a 45, this is 44, then that has to be an 8. That would be a 1, because the first 8 digits adding up to 44 leave 1 out of the total of 45. So this feels very unlikely to me. 45 there, 44 there. This black dot, that would take us down to 22. That is possible, annoyingly. Okay, I'm going to have to think of some other starting digits. Now, 1 has to appear in this column somewhere as well. Oh, 1. 1 1 in this column forces 1 next to it in the perimeter, because obviously the sum of the first 1 digit that is a 1 is 1. And that can't be on a black dot because it would be next to Mr. Impossible 2. Now, 1 can't... Oh, hang on. Can 1 be here? No, it can't be here either. A white dot or a black... Oh, 1 can never be on a dot here because it would be next to 2, and 2 is an impossible X sum. Oh, so it's 1 that cannot appear in those cells, and that's going to give us a 1 and a 9. Oh my goodness, we're away. This is the 45. That is a fantastic beginning. Oh, it's thinking about column 1 and the extreme digits in it. That is so brilliant. Right, now I can write 45 so it looks like 45. Well, this one is 44 and I cannot write that. Oh, I tell you what, I could make it like that. And if we read that as a double digit number, as 44, I don't know if I'll be able to do this the whole time. Anyway, that now has to start with an 8. As we explained, well, this was hypothetical before, but it's now fact. Those 8 digits add up to 44. 45 minus 44 leaves a 1 there. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, 44, then this next one is 22, because it's not 88. So I'm writing 22 like that. Now, 22 begins with... Now I have to have a choice. It can't be 3 digits, because one of them would be a 3, and the other 2 would have to add up to 19. So it could be 4, 5, or 6 digits. It can't be... Oh, no, it can't be 6. Can it? If you had 6 digits, the only way to make 22, that's lovely. Yes, we've done this in X sums before, but a long time ago, actually. If you have 6 digits, the only way to make 6 different Sudoku digits add up to 22 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7. Now, you notice that list doesn't include 6. So 6 couldn't be here with a 22 clue here, because you can't make those add up to 16 then. So this is 4 or 5. It can't be 7 because the minimum of 7 digits would have to add up to 28. Ah, okay. And this, I don't know. This is either 21 or 23, I suppose. And that doesn't quite have the same restrictions because it's not 22. That's weird. 21 can be a 6 at the beginning. They still can't be 3, so it's 4, 5, or 6 there. This is consecutive again. Now, it could be 22 again, but it's definitely even. It's either 20, 22, or 24. "20" could be done in 3 digits. Oh, and this is going to lead us into the black string. Oh, gosh, okay. So let's just mark up the possibilities. 20 could be 3, 8, 9, so we have to bring 3 into the fold now. Now, this is either half or double 20, 22, or 24. Okay, it can't be double 22 or 24. Because that's too much. We can't have another 44 because we've used the 8. 48 is too much. It could be 40, or it could be half of these things. So it could be 10, 11, or 12. Oh, and 10 would even allow a 2. Okay, maybe that's what we have to think about is... We still have a 2 and a 7 to place in this column. Two and a 7. The 7 is going to need a number bigger than 28. So we are going, yes, okay, whatever we have here, 20, 22, or 24, we're going to have to double or halve it. And that's the only operation we can do to the numbers we get successively. So if this is 20, then these numbers are selected from 10, 5, and 40. If it's 22, if it's 22, they're selected from 11 and 44. 44 does not allow a 7, and nor does 22. 22 is too small. 44 is too big to allow a 7. So this is not 22, because one of these has to allow a 7 here. And if you have 22 here, you can only have 11 and 44 here. Wow. Or, yeah, that's true. So that's not a 2. So it's different from that, but I don't know what it is. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, does that work for anything else? Can 7 work? If that was 24... Ah, no, definitely not. We could only use halves of 24 or its halves, or double 24. So we could come down to 12, and that's too small for a 7 by a long way. Or we could go up to 48, and that's too big for any X sums clue. Oh, we could have 24 again. Yeah, I did allow for that with this, with the 7 and the 22. We could have 24 again. That doesn't work for 7 because 7 digits have to add up to at least 28. So this can't be 24. This is 20. We're there. Well, we know what that is. This must be 21. That still allows 4, 5, or 6. 20 doesn't allow 6 because the minimum 6 digits add up to 21. 20 there. So this is either 10 or 40. That's weird, but it's true. That doesn't pencil mark very cleverly. This is going to be divisible. Oh, no, it could be 5 or 20, and that's all. This is 5 or... What's the 2 going to need? The 2 could use a 10. The 7 is going to need a 40 somewhere. The 40 can only be there or there, I reckon. So 7 is in one of those two positions, not there. And it's with 40 as its sum over here. So one of those two is 40, and this one has to be 20. One of those two is 40. They're both joined by a black dot to this cell, which can't be 80. It must be 20. Gosh, this is crazy. That can't be a 2. So now 2 and 7 are in those two cells. And the 2, since it's next to 20, we can't get down to 5 anymore. The 2 is going to be with a 10, and the 7 is going to be with a 40. And I have no way of telling what order they're in at the moment. But this is 3, 4, 5, or 6 with a 20 here. So one of these is 10, one of them is 40. The 10 is getting a 2 here and an 8 in one of these cells to go with it. The 40 is going to make the first 7 cells in the row add up to 40, and the last 2 add up to 5. Ooh, can we do this? No, not really. Well... Oh, hang on. Wow, lovely. I've put a 6 in this cell, and I shouldn't have, because 20, as I discovered here, cannot be 6 digits. So there is only one place for 6 to go in the row, and it's there with a 21 clue. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make that sum work. Ooh, let's look over here. These are 7, 8, 9. This can't be 45, so that's not 9. Why can't it be 45? Because... that doubles to 90 and halves to 22.5, and neither of those are any way acceptable. If this was an 8... Oh, if this was an 8, those would add up to 39, which is 45 minus 6. And we can't put 39 here for exactly the same reasons. It's high and it's odd, and that's no good on a black dot, because this would have to be 19.5 or 78. So that's not 8. That is 7. We've got another digit somewhere I really wasn't expecting to put one in. And those 7 add up to 45 minus 6 minus whatever that is. So somewhere between 38 and 34. Oh, it's got to be even, being that high. Yes. So this... has to be odd to make that work. Then this is going to be half of that, because it can't be twice that. And this is either 17, 18, or 19. Not going to be helpful. This digit could be as low as a 3 or as high as a 5. Not bad. Nearly forming a triple. Now we've got the 6 there. 22 is 4 or 5. Okay, I'm actually going to mark off the cells that are effectively used up here. So I've done that because I know they must add up to 45, whatever I put in. I've done this because now I've got the 1 there. These must add up to 44. It doesn't matter about the order. And here, with this pencil marking, those must add up to 21. So I've done that clue. Now, I really haven't done a lot of the others. Oh, we've got that pencil marked 8. So 8 is going in one of those cells. Oh, 3 in this column is in one of those two, isn't it? Yes, it is. And they've got a 20 clue. Wherever the 3 is, it must have a 20 clue because those are both 20 clues. And that is going to mean the 3 goes 389 or 398, and it doesn't do that down here because 8's in one of those cells with the 2. That's gorgeous. It's exquisite. So that's not the 3. This is the 3. This 20 clue is... that needs to be 8, 9, but we know which one is the 8. It's here. And that is that's not just established. I've actually placed all the digits in that one. This is a 4 or 5 cell 20. There's a lot of scope there. Now, down here, this hasn't changed anything here. There's a 7 giving 40 in either those 7 or those 7, and a 10 giving a 2 and an 8. Ah, this is quite limited now. What's this clue looking up here? This is looking at, if it's a 2, this is going to be a clue of 6 or 7, because it's only adding those 2 digits. If it's a 7, it's those, which add up to 45 minus those 2, so 35. So I don't know what this is, but I do know that it's limited to 3 possible entries, 6, 7, or 35. That is a very rare set of possibilities in one cell. But it's a white dot, so 35 would work. This could be 34, although not with an 8, I don't think. Oh. Not with an 8, because for those cells to add up to 34, or 30, oh no, 36 is possible if this is 35. 36 is not possible because that can't be a 9. Right, this can't be 8. Obviously, if that's 6 or 7, this is 5, 6, 7 or 8, and you can't be talking about 8 digits. If this is 35, 8 doesn't quite work here, because even 36, which is theoretically possible in a column beginning with an 8, is not possible here, because if that was to happen, 45 minus 36 would leave a 9 at the end, and that's not allowed by Sudoku. So that's not an 8. So 8 is in this cell, and now we know where the 2-8 pair is, making the 10x sum, and this is therefore the 40x sum down here with the 7 clue, and we've very nearly finished column 1. This now is a 35 clue. Oh! How can that be? Oh, now I feel I might have got this wrong. How can this possibly be a 34? Oh, it's less. Hang on, maybe it could be. If this can't be 9, 8 or 7. Could you possibly get... Yes, you could get 6 cells adding up to 34. Or maybe even 36. Okay, I'm going to trust what I've done a bit. That, I think, is 34 or 36. This is probably going to have to be 6. If you were adding 5 cells, if that was a 5, that couldn't be more than a 3. You'd have 25 plus that. That's not going to get you to 34 because you can't repeat the 9. This is a 6. That doesn't change what this is. Oh, this pair at the end of this row adds up to 5, which is the difference between 45 and the 40 in those cells. So I'll just give it some low markings. It does definitely add up to 5, not just 5 maximum, but actually 5. Right, now, 34 or 36 in 6 cells. So these top 3 add up to 9 or 11, not including a 1. So they definitely include a 2. If it's 9, that's 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to get a 7 here. Oh, if those add up to 9 or 11, they're never going to include a 7. So the 7 in the column definitely is here. These can't have a 3 in, I've just noticed. So, 30, oh, this is getting quite restricted now. Okay, we've got 30 in those. Let's just highlight this. In the full digits, we have 30 already, 6, 9, 8, 7. So these other two either add up to 4 or 6. And that's going to make this one odd. And one of them is a 1, because they can't both be 3s. And that's not surprising. There was always going to be a 1 in this column in that section. Ah, I can't actually finish that off. That's very frustrating. So what about at the top then? I don't know. This could be anything from 2, 3, 4 or 5. So the most these could add up to is, well, it's 45 minus 24 there. So 21 is the most you could add these up to, I think. Yeah, that must be right. The least you could have is a 2 and a 3. So this clues somewhere between 5 and 21, and that's not very helpful, frankly. There's a 7 and a 6 in these cells. Oh, so these are only from 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's not like me not to pencil mark something fully. Oh, that 10 clue's done. This 40 clue's sort of done. Maybe I won't mark it. This 35 clue is done. This one is definitely not done, because I don't know whether that's a 1-5 or a 1-3 pair. Ah, but it's one or the other. So these are either 2, 3, 4 or 2, 4, 5, and they add up to 9 or 11. I don't know what to do next. What about this 22 clue? Any interest in that? Anyone? I mean, I'm looking at this sequence. Of course, it may not be an ascending or descending sequence. It can bounce up and down like that one did. But do we think about where 9 goes in this row? I mean, it can obviously go in those cells. But actually, I think it could even go in one of those with an 8 next to it to make a 45-44 pair, just like we had here. And 1 could be in one of those two. So give you a 9-8 deadly pattern that wouldn't really be deadly because of the X sums. No, I don't know. I'm rambling. Let me try and think about this. So if this was 4 cells, oh, this can't be a 3 anymore just by Sudoku. 17, 8. Oh, and this has lost one of its options here. So this is no longer 34, 36, or 38. The middle one, the 3, has gone. So it's not 36. Therefore, this isn't 18. So we're down to 34 or 38 for those 7 cells. And therefore, 17 or 19, for 4 or 5 cells here. Now, those add up to 20, plus 17 or 19 is 37 or 39. So the underlap, the cells that aren't in either X sum, which are either 1 or 2 cells here, add up to 8 or 6. That feels quite significant, but I don't really know how. I'm just going to do some marking there. This is either 4 or 5 cells, this this clue. And it adds up to 17 or 19. So the underlap, which is either one cell that would have to be a 6, or 2 cells that could add up to 6 in one instance of 4 or 5 there. Well, it would have to be a 4 if it was 2 cells. There'd be 1, 5. And if it was 8 that you're adding up to, that has to be 2 cells. But that could be 1, 7 or 2, 6. Oh, this is complicated. Okay, there's a 7 somewhere here. I was going to say there can't be a 7 here, so it must be in the X sum, but that's absolute nonsense. Not just because that could be a 7 and not in the X sum, but because there could be a 7 there with a 1 there, making an 8 underlap. Oh, but actually it's dependent on what this is. Isn't it? I don't know. Oh, 9 and 8. 9 and 8 have to be in these 3 cells. Ooh, is there a problem if we force 9 or 8 into the... I don't think this can be 5. This can't be 5 because you must get one of 9 or 8 in it, plus a 5, plus a 7. You're up to at least 20 with 2 more cells to add, and that can't give you 22. That is absolutely on the cusp of proof, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to explain it again. In fact, I'll do it by filling in the numbers. If this was a 5, because 9 and 8 have to be fitted into these 3 cells, you could avoid putting 9 or 8 in there, but one of these 2 is going to have to be 9 or 8. And once you put even an 8 in one of them, and you're adding 5 cells, you're already up to 20, and to get to 22 you'd have to put 1s in both of those, and that's not allowed. And that really is tight, but it works, and it means this is a 4, and we've finished column 1. And that 4, I am definitely marking these as a sum. We've got 11 there and another 11 here. Oh, and we can't have a 4 there. This is 1, 2, or 5. Well, it can't be a 1 to make the 11 sum. This is now 6 or 9. So I'm taking away the 8 pencil mark. There's definitely an 8 in one of those 2 cells, which doesn't really help. But that 9-8 pair was very useful. There's also, oh no, I was going to say there's a 3 up there, but actually there's definitely not. Because in this row, there's now a 3 in there, and a 4. So there's a 3 up there somewhere. And there's definitely a 4 here. I was hoping that would mean that if you have a 5 here and a 4 in these 3 cells, then you can't do the 6 underlap, but you can because it would just be 1 cell. Now, come on though. Oh. That's almost done. This is now 5 cells for 20. There looks like a lot of possibilities. 8, 2, 5, 7, 6. That's 1, 3, 4, or 9. These are all from... Oh yeah, hang on. What's this? There's a 4 in there. Okay, this is not 1, 9, 8, 2, or 4. These cells are all from 3, 5, 6, and 7. Oh, come on. I must be able to limit these things at the top here now a bit. 2 and 4 are in those... The trouble is this can be 2. Then this could be 5, 6, or 7. They might still be interesting as ideas. They are interesting as ideas because there's no way to make this a 10 or a 12 or maybe even a 14 No, but that's not true. That could be a... No, it can't be a 14. Because this would have to start with a 3. Okay, that 5, 6... Okay, sorry, this is a bit... Am I stretching a bit here? I'm going to do it because I can see it, and I like doing things I can see. So I'm reasoning that this cell can't be a 2, because these two would only add up to 5, 6, or 7, which would be there. Now this cell clearly can't be a 3 halving that, so you'd have to double that to 10, 12, or 14 as the X sum clue. Now 5, 6, and 7 are far too big to be with a 10, 12, or... well, 5 is a little too big, but they're too big to be with a 10, 12, or 14 clue. So you'd have to start this with the 3. But because you wouldn't have the 3 here, this would be 3, 6, 7, which add up to 16, which is not one of the options here. In fact, these cells do add up to either 16 or 18, but they don't have to begin with a 3. However, this is not 5, 6, or 7, because that can't be 10, 12, or 14, so this is not a 2, is my thesis here. Now, the 2 and 4 are definitely in this set, so if this is a 3, this has to be 9. Then that has to be 18, and this has been 3, 2, 4. That would be 5, 6, 7. Now they do add up to 18, but they don't begin with an X clue of 3. So that's not 3. Now, can we eliminate one more of these numbers? If it's a 5, this is 5, 2, 4, 7, 1. Then the total up here, what's 5, 2, 4, 7, and 1? 19. That would be 38, because you can't halve 19. And some of these digits, either 5, 6, or 7 of them, would add up to 38. That would mean these bottom two would add up to 7, or some number of digits at the bottom would add up to 7. I think it would have to be a 3, 4, and you could have a 7 there. So 5 does work, which is annoying to me, because 5 seemed to be the most forcing possibility, and I thought it would probably fail. Now if this is a 4, these are 4, 7, 2, which is 13, plus 3 or 5, and that takes us up to 16 or 18. And this can be anything from 8, 9, 32, or 36. And that is, unfortunately, a wide range of possibilities, and that is annoying. Okay, if that's a 5, let's try this cell. Maybe we can work it the other way around, although I suspect we can't, but I'm going to try. 3 here makes these... We'll start with 3, not 5. Makes these 16, because 7 and 6 have to be in those cells. So you get 16 there. Oh, this couldn't be 8. And I think 32 is too much. 4 or 5 cells here cannot add up to 8 or 32. 16 cannot be here. That is not a 3. Okay. If this is a 5, this is 5, 6, 7, 2, 1. What do they add up to? 21. You'd get 21 here. This would have to be 42, and that's not possible. That is not a 5. Come on, let's go again. If it's a 6, what are those 6 cells? I'll tell you what they are. They're these 6 cells. And we sort of know what they add up to. 10, well, 2 possibilities. 28 plus 1 or 3. 29 or 31 if we begin with a 6. That's no good. You can't have an odd high number, because that would leave this to be 58 or 14.5 or something. That can't be a 6. That is a 7. I've done it. I've done it. Maybe. Well, I don't know. It may not finish the puzzle, but we're adding those 7 cells now. Ooh. These are from 1, 3, 4 and 9. Oh, well, it's the same deal actually here. Oh, that's quite interesting, yes. These add up to, what was it, 29 or 31? Yeah. So those, which have to be the same cells as those, because they're both a set of 9 minus those 3. So that, yeah, those are all up there. So they add up to 29 or 31. We can't have a big, old, odd number there. So when we get these 7, they have to add up to an even number. And these are 29 or 31. We need another odd number here. So brilliantly, I've ruled out a 4. These add up to, in fact, these add up to 30, 32 or 38. I can actually pencil mark that. 30, 32 or 38. This is going to have to be half that because it can't be double. So it's 15, 16 or 19. Can we do that? 15, 16 or 19. 4 cells, 11. These would have to add up to 4, which they can't, 5, which they can, or 8, which they can. But 5 here, 7 there, 1 there is 13. These would have to add up to 2, 3 or 6, which they can. Curse them! Oh, that's so annoying. That is a 1 or a 3. So there has to be a 1 or a 3 in this sum. There's definitely a 4 in the outies down here. Oh, goodness. Okay, but we've got to have the same number as there this side. Is that any help? I doubt it. 15, 16 or 19 this side, but it could begin with anything. It could be 3, can't be 2. It could be 3, 4, 5, and it can't be 6. Okay. Ooh, if it was 4 or 5, probably couldn't put a 9 in it. Oh, maybe you could, I don't know. No, that's not so helpful. Ah, but that's 15, 16 or 19. So this either goes up again to 30, 32 or 38, or it's half 16 and is therefore 8. Ah, I've run out of steam again. That's so irritating. Oh, is it something to do with this? I mean, this is no use. This we've got down to the 2 possibilities. I don't really know how to go any further. I suppose... What happens if this is 1? That forces this to be 5. Then that's 2, and we get a 9 here and a 1 here. This is 34. That's 17. The underlap is then 8. I don't know. The 8 couldn't be 3, 5, but no. Oh, whatever this is goes into this total, doesn't it? So if that's a 3, these are adding up to 31 already. That would have to be a 1. If that's a 3, that has to be a 1. Because it can't be a 7 to make 38 total. That's interesting. If that's a 3, that's a 1. Otherwise, this is a 1. So there's definitely a 1 in one of those two cells and not in this pair, which are now either 4-3, leaving 38, or 4-9, leaving 32. So we can rule out the 30 option. I just want to check that again. If it was a 30 option, these would have added up to 15, which is just not possible. I think that 30 option was a mistake. Well, it was either a mistake or it's been ruled out now. I think it's been ruled out. We're either on 32 or 38. Therefore, this is either 16 or 19. Has that changed anything? It doesn't feel like it has. But let's just think again. If this is a 3, that's a 1. If this is a 1, that's 5, that's 2, that's 1. This is 34, that's 17. This is 3, 4, 5 then. Oh, that's getting interesting. So, if this is a 5, making this 34, 17 in the orange, but you also get 2, 1, you get a 9 there and 3, 4, 5 here. So this underlap of 8 can't use 3, 4 or 5. And that doesn't stop it being 2, 6 or 1, 7. And that's, mind you, that would have to be a 4. It couldn't be a 5 anymore. That's if that's a 5. What if this is a 1? Then this is a 38 sum. This is 19. The underlap now is 6. And that can be a single 6. I think it would have to be. And that would be a 5. I don't know. That didn't prove anything. What about this? 16 or 19 now? If that was a 5, this would have to be 5, 6, 1, 3, 4 to get those in to 19. 5, 6, 1, 3, 4. Oh, come on, Mark. 2, 8, 5, 7, 6 have to be in these cells. Top row? Have I just not thought enough about the top row? This is now 8, 32 or 38. Those are widely diverse totals, and the 8 is still possible if you started with a 2. Actually, it might be possible if you started with a 3, which is depressing. 5 there? No. Still don't know whether this is 34 or 36. If that's a 1, that's a 1. That's when this becomes 2, 3, 4. With a 5 there, you've made a 34 total here. You get a 17 total here. You've used 2, 3, 4 here. The 17 total leaves an underlap of, I've done this before, of 8, which makes this a 1, 7 pair. 2, 3, 4, 1, 7, 9 there. 2, 6 and 8 to fit in, and there's every way in the world of doing that. Oh, what about these? What's going on down here? Oh no. Is this might be something obvious, or it might take a heck of a lot of maths thought again. And I'm feeling a bit exhausted now. That's actually true. I literally do feel a bit tired of the maths. What digits are these? I mean, there's a lot of possible options at the moment. I don't know. I don't see how this can really help. Am I being feeble? Should I really think about this connection? I mean, these are likely to be digits that are close together. Oh, I suppose neither of them... Oh, look, neither of them can be 9, because that would put a 45 in one of these cells. The other would be 44, would need an 8 there and a 1 in the far column, in the far row, and it can't have it. So 9 is in one of these 3 cells in the row. Ugh, doesn't feel incredibly helpful. 8, though? The closest, if 8 was in one of these, the closest digit in terms of the number we'd count is a 5. That have to be 35 from the 5 clue and 36 from the 8 clue. I think it would. No. Yeah, it would. 36 is the least an 8 clue can provide, and 35 is the most. That would be interesting, but I kind of feel I need to do something else first in this puzzle. I mean, they may be profitable, but I can't see it at the moment, and it just doesn't look like it'll reward further work. I mean, it is somewhere else we could come back to. I'm probably just missing something else quite obvious. If that was a 5... if that was a 5, there's only one underlap cell, which has to be a 6 then. And that makes this a 9 and this a 2. And this a 5-1 pair. But if this is a 5, we've got 17 here. We've got, no, have we? We've got the 6 there. We've got 19 here. So that's a 38 clue. So this has to be the 1. If that's a 5, we end up with a 1 here. A 6 here. 9, 2, 5. That must be 3, 6. Then you end up with a 3 here. Alternatively, if this is a 4, you've got 2 cells. But they could even be a 1-5 pair at the moment. 5, 2, 4, 9. Yeah, I don't see it. I'm missing something still. Haven't got there yet. Can this be 32 or 38? I don't see why not. This could be a 6 clue, or a 5, sorry, a 6x or a 5x. It's difficult. Maybe there's something obvious going on here and I can't get it. That is possible. Oh, and maybe it relates to the relation between those two. That's interesting. So, if this is 19 and 28, then these cells and 4 or 5 of these add up to 47. Then these cells, and maybe this one, add up to 43. And we've got 23 there and a definite 4 here. 27. We'd need the 9 in that case to get us close. 36. And these would have to add up to 7. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Okay, what I'm talking about now is a 19 there with a 38 there. And then we have a total of 19 and 38. No, it's 57. It's not 47. I'm terrible. Triple 19 on a dartboard is 57. So if those add up to 57, then these, with or without that cell, add up to 33, not 43. Oh, and we've already got 23 there. Well, these can't add up to as few as 10. Well, it's close. They can add up to as few as 10, but only by repeating the 3. And even if you add that in, these can't make 10. Either those 3 or those 4 cells. This is right. This is right. 19 and 28 is 57. Made up of those cells and maybe that one. So the other cells in the columns, the 2 columns must add to 90. It's part of the secret. Must include those 4 cells and maybe that one. They have to add up to 33 if this is 19 and 38 at the top. And that 33 is those which are 23, and then these 3 and maybe that one adding up to 10, and they cannot do that. 3, 4 there is 7. That one could be a 3, but that would repeat. Not possible. This is not 19. This is 16. This is 32. This is 16 again. Now, 32, these add up to 13. They're a 9, 4 pair. That's not 9. Let's remove the corner marks from all of those places. Now, this is 16. So, if that was a 5... 7 and 1 is already 13. Impossible. That's a 4. And that's an actual concrete digit. Right, 4 there, plus 7 is 11. Those 2 add up to 5. They are a 2, 3 pair. I've thought that ever since I saw the possibility, but we are there now. 7 and 5, 6 there. Oh, look, we get a 1 here. We get a 5 here. 2 and 1. That becomes a 9. This X sum is done. Let's get rid of the red. This one's done. This one is done when we fill in a 3 here. Yep, that is done. This 16 is not done at all, but it can't be a 5 here with a 9 there. It is a 3 at the top. And these 2 add up to 13. They're either 8, 5 or 6, 7. They are not, anyway, 1. This, if that's a 9, this is 2, 4. Oh, but it can be a 4, and there's a lot of possibilities. Now, this is one of the cells that can be 9 in this. Has this got any tighter? Not really. Don't think so. We know what this is now, because those 7 add up to 45 minus 11, 34. 17 here. Now, can that really be 5 cells? The underlap is now 8, and that can't be a single 8, so it can't be 5 cells. It's 4 cells. That I uncolour. These 4 cells add up to 17. The underlap now is 8 in 2 cells without using 3, but it could be 2, 6 or 7, 1. Oh no, hang on. These are 2, 3 and 4, so it can't be 2, 6. It's 7, 1. That's not a 7. Let's remove all of those corner marks, in fact, and the 9s from those ones. Right, so 4, 2, 5, 6. That one can't be a 2 because we've got 2, 3, 4 triple. This 17 clue and that 34 clue are both effectively done. This can't be a 4. So that's a 2, 3 pair. Now the bottom row's got interesting. We cannot put a 1 in either of those cells because that would put a 1 down here next to a 2, which is impossible. So 1 is in one of those 2 only. 1, 2, 3, 7, 6. We've got 4, 5, 8 and 9 as possibles. Now, sure. Right, we've worked out we can't have a 9 because that would put 45 here, which would need 44, which would need a 1 up here, and that's not happening. So this is either a 4, 5. Okay, if it's involves an 8, these two, then I've just worked this out. This is 36 with a 9 at the top in one of those cells. And the 5, the 5 has to be a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, making 45, making 35. And it can't do that because those cells don't have those candidates. So this is not 8, 5. There's no 8 in them. That's a 4, 5 pair. Here we go round the mulberry bush. That's now a 1, 8 pair in those two. I can't resolve them. But these two now add up to 10 without involving a 4 or a 1. They're either 2, 8 or 3, 7. 3, 7 would be in a specific order. 3, yeah, those add up to 13. That is 2 or 3 because we've got sort of 2, 3 pair going on, and they can't be a 2, 3 pair. Okay, what about these then? I don't want to do these sums. 4 and 5 of these cells, and they just have to be consecutive. It feels too open to me. Okay, how about this column? This is an 8 or a 32. Now, if it was 32, the outies would be 13. That could be 5 and 8, but you can't have a 7 there, so it can't be. And that would be 5 or 6 if it was 32. If it's 8, it would now have to be a 2 at the start. What about these two? Okay, these are from 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. 9 we didn't rule out. 9 we said was possible here because an 8 next to it, well, it now would be a 1 down here. So you'd have the 8 here, 44, 45, 9 here. Yeah, that's annoying. This could be a 9, 8 pair. Might have the same problem if it was an 8, 5 pair as we've... Oh, it could be 8, 6 there. Okay, that's not so useful. 9, 2, 3, 4, 1, 7. These are from 5, 6, or 8. So if this was 8, this is 2, 6, then that would be an 8, 5 pair. Oh, that can't be a 3. There is some question to ask here, like where does 2 go, or 4 or something? Or 8, no, I don't know, it doesn't quite yield, does it? Does it? Not to me. 5, 1, 4. 2 and 3 are used there. These are from 6, 7, 8, and 9. That one can't be a 7. I don't think putting numbers here does anything, unfortunately. 5, 4 pair there, 5, 4 pair there, 4's in one of those, 5's in one of these 3. That's not going to do anything either. Sudoku is all very well, but I need to work on these clues further, and it's feeling very difficult at this point. Oh, we now know whether that was 34 or 36, which is not the most interesting thing, but it was 36, and that clue is done. This clue, I'm going to put that as done now. I know that's a 2, 3 pair. Maybe that's relevant somewhere, somehow. This 20, yeah, that's really not done. This 16 is not done either. So let's think about the possibilities here. 3, 6, 7 would give 1, 8, 2, 4. You'd end up with a 5 here, which cannot be here. Aha! It looks like this can't be 3, 6, 7. That would be 1. 3, 6, 7, 1, 8, 2. There it was. The question is, where is there a 5 in this column? And I never managed to ask it. It's not here because of that 4, 5 pair. It's there. Wow. Right. I mean, that was relatively straightforward, but hard to see after all this mental grind, frankly. 5 and 6 there. 3, 8, 5, 9. That is now a 1. This is a 7. Oh, the 1 gives an 8 here. That now can't have a 7 in. That's a 2, 8 pair. This is 3. This feels like progress. We get 3 in the central box, 3, 8, 5, 9, 7, 1. This has become a 2, so this clue is fully done. Ooh, getting excited again. Let's get rid of all the colouring in those cells. And indeed in those, why not? Now, that's become a 4, in fact, and a 6 to finish the column. This is a 7-9 pair. That's a naked 5. This is a 1-4 pair. That can't be 8, so 8 in the box is next to it. Now, surely we can get onto this now. If that was a 5, we would have a 6 here. 5, 11, 14. That would be a 4. So up here we would have a 2 and a 7 or 9. We'd be on 14 plus 2 is 16, plus 7 or 9 is 23 or 25. Useless total. That's not a 5. If it was a 6, that's a 5, that's a 3, 1. We'd have a 2 and again a 7 or a 9. It's the same sort of total but with a 1 added, which actually makes it even. 6 and 5 is 11, 14, 15. A 2 there is 17. And either a 7 or a 9 takes us to 24 or 26, which are not knowledge bomb, the double 16. So that is an 8. This is a 2. That is a 6. Then we can do 5 and 6 in the central box. Then we can do 5 and 4 down here. These are basically just going to work themselves out somehow, which is frightening, especially if they're wrong. That is 7 or 9. I'm just going to do the Sudoku first. That's a naked 9. They are going to work themselves out. I mean, we've used the limitations down here, but let's pray that red is consecutive to yellow now. You can do the maths while I finish off the Sudoku up here. Those can't be 2 or 9. That's 6 or 8. Okay, let's have a look at them. I've got to know now. 18, 22. And here, what are these? 10, 16, 18, 23. Yes! Come on! Well done, Zenonetics. Good enough, Mark. Okay, so those can be uncoloured. Those are purple. We are getting close now. I've still got this stuff to do, though. That 8's been done. Okay, come on, think it through, think it through. 1, 6, 3 here. That one can't be a 1. 2, 3, and 9. Oh, what are these going to be? This is going to hurt now. That's 2 or 3. That is a pair. 9, 5, yes, that's right. So that's actually a 6. And that's a 9. Ooh, we get 8 at the top. We get the boringly and expected 5, 6 pair there. Not really boring, but you know what I mean. There's a 4, 7 pair there. That has pencil marked an awful lot of the grid. Let's just remove some of the impossibilities. Crikey, and now we've got 2 more columns to disambiguate. Okay, how do we do this? Maybe we do a total sum jobby again. It's either, well, it's those 5 versus those 6. And then there's 1 extra in one of them now. Okay, so the alternative way of looking at these columns is actually not adding the 2 sums. It's comparing this group of cells with that group. Okay, let's get rid of that colouring and indeed all of this colouring, because what I'm now going to do is compare these 4, which I bet cannot be 1 away from these 3, which they would have to be, because they're the difference from 45 against 5 on the left and 6 on the right. But these 4 include an 8 and more digits. Now the minimum they can be is 17. The maximum these can be is 14. They are not within 1 of each other. That is not the way round it goes. It goes round this way. This is a 5 to add up those 5 cells. And maybe the Sudoku will take us to the solution and I can then check the maths again. 6 and 7. I think that's quite likely suddenly. 3 there. 7 and 4 at the top. Those don't have a 3 in. In fact, we've got the 2 and 3 over here. Never going to get a tick in this grid, but I am going to get a very proud feeling if I finish this like this. And now please, green, be 1 away from orange. 16 and I can't do the maths. 15. This is the solution. So we're adding, actually for the clue at the top, we're adding those which are 45 minus 16. They must add up to 29. And these, which are these 5 cells, which I can see add up to 30. And that, my friends, is a brilliant mathematical phenomenon completed. Wow, what a puzzle. What a grid. What an astonishing creation of a grid. That, you know, you can just put those dots in around the perimeter, and that grid is a must fill in that way. Fantastic. And never easy. No step of that was easy. Brilliant puzzle. Thank you for watching. Oh, it's a long one, isn't it? There we go. I can press the tick and it says, oh, looks good as far as I can tell. Sven, you are incredible. How do you make it do that? I'm baffled. Anyway, great. So as far as the app knows, it is right. So the tick was good. Anyway, that is a great puzzle. Thanks for watching. As always, happy birthday, Zenonetics, and hope to see you all soon. Bye for now.